Nobody loves us.
Yes, I think we can see them. We have three here, another one here. It says,
Oh,
okay, so buenos días, gente. We posted some questions on the chat. If you wanna ask questions, you can do it there, and el señor Erazo y la señora Gutierrez will answer them at the end, the last 10 minutes. Also, we have a little poll there that we'd love for you to complete to know if you are good with using Spanglish in this presentation. And it's my pleasure to present my colleague and good friend Erik Erazo. We work together at Olathe School District. We have known each other for a while now, and I always thought of him for this kind of presentation with the community, mainly in these very uncertain times. So Erik Erazo, for those who don't know him, was born in California. He started his career in the automotive world and then moved to Kansas to kind of a private security, right? Uh, Position at the Olathe School District, and from there it was all education. I think it was his talent. It was in his cards, and then he started getting inspired by students and inspiring students. So he got his bachelor's and master's degree in education, and now he is the our Olathe School District coordinator for diversity and engagement, apart from many other things in the community in the Olathe School District. He created the Hispanic Leadership Club and also the Hispanic Lowrider Bike Club, which is amazing. And he has all these kiddos whose talents are also kind of put to work in order for them to stay in college and graduate with a degree. The club boasts 100% high school graduation, and the whole community is really proud of him for that. He's gotten a lot of awards. He's been on TV and a lot of shows, TV programs, etc. With his club. He also serves on the board of El Centro, among others. He works with different councils for criminal justice at the Olathe Police. So his bio is like 45-minute long, so I'm gonna stop right there and he can talk about himself. And then Isabel, he works with Isabel in this KidsTLC, which is a family support program. Isabel is also super strong advocate for families, children, and home care providers. And her passion is also education and empowering the Hispanic and dual language community. She has a bachelor's from MNU and has helped create early childhood programs in the community. He is involved in teaching first aid, CPR, babysitting, etc. Isabel is also an approved KDHE trainer in child development and community emergency response team member. Both of them are key for the Olathe Latino community, and I'm really happy to see them here. And I think you're gonna get a lot from this presentation. Any questions again? And thank you for joining in. Any questions, please, on the chat. And if you can please take the poll, I'll appreciate it. Thank you. And Isabel, Erik, all yours.
all right. Thank you very much. Well, we always start our videos with ¿Qué onda, familia? So, ¿Qué onda, comunidad? Hopefully you guys all are good with the Spanglish thing. That's the poll we're doing because we're thinking of kind of mixing that in there, and I hope that's all right with everybody. So, thank you, Marta, for the introduction. So yeah, I definitely I've been in the district for almost 17 years and loving every minute of it. She did mention one of the things I want to highlight if you guys get a chance is our Hispanic Leadership Lowrider Bike Club. If you guys just Google Hispanic Leadership Lowrider Bike Club, it should pop up. But just like to super highlight the kids. They've done an amazing job in that program, and we have been all over the place, definitely news and things like that. But just recently on Amazon Prime, there's a show named Gears with a Z, and it's season 14, episode 12. If you get a chance to kind of see our kiddos from Little Olathe, Kansas, featured on this big TV show, so it's really fun. So like Marta said, I'm from originally from San Francisco. God knows why he wanted me in Kansas, but here I am, and I'm loving it, except for the weather. I hate the weather. I'm not gonna lie, but but everything else is great. And so I have been in the district for a long time, but today we're going to be talking about a program at KidsTLC, which is called ¿Qué Onda Familias? And I was lucky enough to land on this gig because I was part of the board. And I found out that there wasn't a lot going on for the Hispanic community as far as this organization was concerned. So I asked if we can create something, and I don't know how I ended up being the lead guy on it, but I did. And so I gave up my seat on the board, but was able to join this piece of it, and it's been amazing. So that's a little bit about me, Miss Isabel.
Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué onda familias o qué onda educadores, verdad? Mi nombre es Isabel Gutierrez, yo nací en Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, y cuando era joven, antes de 15 años, mis padres se mudaron aquí a Kansas, y aquí estoy y le doy gracias a Dios por la oportunidad que mis padres nos dieron y por la oportunidad que este país nos ha dado con educación y oportunidades de servir a nuestra comunidad, que esa es mi meta.
All right. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start here. Hopefully this will work. It looks like I am. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, sorry, guys. Yep, there we go. Let's see.
Okay. KidsTLC. Bueno, vamos a hablar un poquito de KidsTLC y hablar lo que KidsTLC, el programa de KidsTLC, ¿verdad? Así es que hay 4 áreas en el programa y es el Phoenix, el programa de Phoenix, que es un servicio para ayudar a los jóvenes y a los niños que están teniendo problemas socioemocionales. Y luego la clínica Lores, que es la clínica donde los niños pueden ser internados. Y el programa del autismo, que es una escuela para niños que tienen autismo, ¿verdad? De 18 meses a 14 años. Entonces están las familias prósperas y es donde nosotros estamos. Como educadores, nosotros estamos aquí para ayudar a nuestras familias con diferentes experiencias familiares, de la relación, cómo establecer una relación positiva con sus hijos y con los padres, ¿verdad? Porque cuando hay una relación positiva sabemos que los niños pueden recibir servicios porque los padres tienen ese apego, ¿verdad? Así es que otra cosa es de que tenemos las clases una vez a la semana. Cuando comenzamos ofreciendo cena, teníamos cuidado infantil y la manera que nosotros demostramos y enseñamos la clase y alcanzamos a nuestro público era a través de mensaje de boca. Así es que dependíamos de que la gente compartiera nuestro mensaje. Eso es cómo comenzamos y qué es lo que estamos haciendo por ahorita.
Yep. All right. So let me see. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit about I'm actually going to push my video. You guys don't need to be seeing my face, especially as early in the morning. Good Lord. Let me see if I could figure out technology here. Here we go. All right. So hopefully everybody can still hear me. So we're going to talk about the content that we had. So these lessons, like Isabel was mentioning, were really kind of created to make sure that our families were on board with all the different programming that we have at this facility, and to make sure that they had access to everything that everybody else did. And we knew that there's always that barrier, and we had to create a bridge, which was doing it not only in Spanish, because as you guys know, it's not just about translating content, but also translating as far as with culture, and to make sure that it fit our families, and that it was something that not only they would understand what's happening in the organization, but also for us to be able to mold what we were doing in the organization to fit our families. So as we started doing this, what we asked was our families to say, what do you guys want to talk about? What is it that you guys want to learn about? And how can we create those lessons? So, we would get subjects from families anywhere from drugs, alcohol, kids, college, medical stuff, anything in that nature. And so then we would take the time to do some research, to try to find out if maybe there was even some people that we could bring in. And I know that's a small picture, but there you see some community professionals that came out to do a session for us, where they talked about what they were doing in the community and answered some questions in regards to healthcare and things like that. We always had to be very flexible with the classes, because you never know I'll give you a quick example. So we had to be flexible in regards to, even if we did plan a lesson, and we were teaching it and the conversation was going in a different route because something maybe have happened in the community, then that's where we would go. So I'll give you an example of, we could be talking about healthcare, for example, and somebody says, hey, I heard que La Mira was in town and they were taking people and we're really scared and this is what's going on. Well, we weren't going to just ignore that and go, okay, back to healthcare, guys. It wasn't like that at all, and it never has been. It was like, all right, well, let's talk about this. What do you guys know? What have you heard? Let me see if I can get on the phone and get some more information on that, to reach out to certain people and bring that to you guys. And so we were always very flexible on that thing. And one thing that you'll see on there that we say is school matters. So Isabel and I are both educators. That's our background. We definitely connect them to the resources and bring information from all kinds of stuff, but we do have a strong emphasis in our classes in regards to education and wanting our families to know how important it is for our students, for their kids, to be able to have that opportunity to take advantage of the education system. So that's one thing that we selfishly maybe always inputted into our lessons is education, and talking about scholarships and talking about GPA and talking about FAFSA and talking about Hispanic Development Fund and all these type of things that we can talk about to make sure that their kids were being connected to those resources and they would have access to all that. I'm sorry, let me see here. All right, and so one thing that we found that was extremely important was our culture in the class, right? I mean, you know how we are, and I can see in the chat that we're all like happy and chilling and having a good time. And it's funny, I'll give you a side note. So I've taught other classes in Spanish, and I'll get the curriculum in English, and I'll get invited to go to an English session, and they go, why don't you come over here so you can model it after what we're doing and you can do it in Spanish. And then I'll go do it, and I go, Charlie, I'm not going to model it after that. That was boring. So we try to make it a little lively and be a little more real with what we're doing. So, I was talking to Marta earlier. She was saying how, she plays music for the kids when they get on her Zoom classes. And we do the same thing, man. We try to keep it alive and keep it very real with the raza, and have pan con café and maybe a little chisme at the beginning. I mean, whatever, right? Like, we just want to keep it real, and let our families know. It's very important that we're on your side. We are you, right? One thing that you guys know as much as I do, there's some raza that, they become educated, which is great. That's what we want. But then they kind of like, veer off a little bit from the origins and the raza, right? And it's kind of like, I'm going to speak this super professional language because I have these degrees or whatever. And that doesn't work, because it makes raza feel like, man, maybe I don't fit in here, or I don't feel as comfortable. And so, we want to make sure that they know we're just like you. So when we're talking to our families, we're going to talk Spanish, that the Spanish that we would use at the panaderia or at taqueria or sitting at, abuelita's couch, and keep it real down to earth. And if there's something that we need to explain, we'll explain it, make it very comfortable for our families to relax in a very family atmosphere, which is what you'll see in a lot of our classes. We always start off and even make fun, and we say this is kind of like Vegas, whatever happens here stays here, so that everybody feels comfortable. And it does. Everybody, when they come to the classes, they're chilling and just enjoying it. We definitely do our focus on our community and family, and make it kind of broad as far as what the topics might be and things like that. But there's always those individual needs, and a lot of times, there'll be families that come in and say, hey, class was great, but this is something specifically happening to me, and I need some help with that. And that's where Miss Isabel will jump in, and she'll talk to them on office hours throughout the week and make appointments with them and find out where we can plug them into. We definitely don't have all the answers here. we know we don't have all, everything to offer here. And it's not about that. If we don't have it, let's find out who does or who can help you, who could be there. Mental health is something that KidsTLC takes pride in, and that's their main focus. And what we found is that there's a lot of need in our community, not just necessarily with our young ones, but our parents, the mom and the dad. Our moms, man, they are so awesome in our community, and they are, the stone of our family. I mean, they got it right. They'll take care of it. They'll do everything. They go to work. They take care of the kids. They take care of the dad. But it's like, well, let's talk. Let's have a place for you guys too, where you guys can come in and chill a little bit and talk about, what you're going through, and let's address that because that's important. Let's talk about pampering you if we can. Let's talk about hooking you up with different things in the community that are going to take care of you, because that's super important. And then talking to the dads that come to the meeting, and the kids, and say, hey, be nice to mom. Take her out, or hang out with her, make her something. It don't matter, but always acknowledge how important our moms are in our community. And that's been huge. And then to the dads, we focus on that as well. I grew up, having a dad that didn't really know how to express his feelings, because he didn't really have it modeled to him. I didn't really have it modeled to me. So, you just kind of, you want to, I've had dads that say, man, I want to get on my knees and play with my kid, and I want to throw him up and do all these things that I see dads doing at the park or on TV. But I just don't know how. It feels weird because it was never done with me. And that's okay to talk about, right? And to say, hey, todavía puede ser macho and have feelings. That's okay, and our kids need to see that we have feelings, and we need to share with our young men that it's okay to have feelings. That doesn't make them any less, and so those are the kind of things that we talk a lot about, and we're very specific, with our families about the problems. We don't try to beat around the bush or be politically correct. That doesn't work. You start being politically correct with raza, and they're just like, man, whatever, right? So, and I see a comment there, just translating documents is not enough. Absolutely. And that's something that I see a lot, is a lot of people just translating material, translating documents, whatever. And it doesn't translate to our culture, right? It doesn't have an explanation attached to it because maybe it's foreign as far as not understanding what the topic is. But being positive is always huge, right? Like, I'll tell you one thing that I strongly believe in is that we can never make anybody feel bad about their reality, just because maybe it doesn't fit ours. And what I mean by that is, a lot of times when you're dealing with the problems in the community, for example, deportations or loss of jobs or things like that, it doesn't help any just to say, oh my gosh, that's terrible. I feel so bad for you. Pobrecito, pobrecita. Oh my gosh. And what are you doing about it, right? Like, you're just making them feel bad about what's really going on. We like to take the approach of, man, que duro es eso. That's really hard. And you know what? We're going to figure this out, and let's start looking for something we can do about it. Let's start connecting you with resources. If you need food, we're going to find that food for you. If you need clothing, we're going to do that. Rental assistance, whatever it is you need, we're going to figure it out some way, somehow, to empower you right now that you're going through something tough, right? So we really like to focus on being positive. All right, Miss Isabel. Nope. All right, so after or when COVID happened, so these classes were amazing. Like, as you guys know, if you guys are already working with our community, like, you look forward to it, right? Especially, I could tell you one experience I had, and I've never changed it. I was teaching a parenting class a long time ago, and we didn't have money. We didn't have the money to have dinner. And so I told the families, I said, familias, no hay dinero para comer esta semana que viene, pero a ver si ustedes quieren traer algo, pues órale, y si no, pues a ver cómo le hago, que sea con pan y café, right? Next thing you know, we had tamales, arroz, frijoles, tacos. So I almost tell Ms. Isabel, sometimes I just want to tell them we don't have anything so we can eat good, instead of the pre-done stuff that I'm going to bring in, man, because they be cooking good. And we were used to that family atmosphere and coming together and kicking it and having fun, we had childcare available for the families. And so it was just a great place to be. And then COVID happens, and it was like, what are we going to do? the restrictions came about with the county and of course the organization of you guys can't meet physically. It's not going to happen. We're definitely not offering childcare. We're not going to be eating. And it was like, oh my gosh, like this is what we've built everything on. How are we going to do this? Now, we had been in talk and communication, of going on Facebook and things like that. And I'll be the first to tell you that I am not a tech guy. I am old school, and I was like, man, I don't really know if this is gonna hit the same, And I know Ms. Isabel's the same with the technology. We were both like, it's not the same. But when COVID happened, it was like, Charlie, you know what? Just like I said earlier, we're not gonna sit here and cry about this. Let's see what we can do. So we decided to launch this platform on the Que Onda Familias Facebook page and start doing videos. And it quickly, as we started asking the families, like, what is it that you guys want to talk about? It was like COVID, because we don't know what's going on. La escuela nos está diciendo that the kids can't go or they can go or they're hybrid or we're not sure. And we want to know if we have to wear masks or we don't have to wear masks, or can we go to restaurants or we can't, or are we allowed to even go out of our house? And it was like, good questions. I don't know that either, right? Because it's happening so quick. So we have to start diving into a lot of research, reaching out to the county, reaching out to all the different school districts. I'm very familiar with my own, but I wasn't familiar with the others, to find out what is it that y'all are doing. And please keep us updated so that we can continue to update our families. So Facebook does work. We got lucky. We get, an average of 90, 100 views per video per week. And what we do is we keep it short. We don't want to make a half an hour long video. We keep them, 7 minutes, try to keep it under 10 for sure, so that it doesn't take too much of folks' time. Maybe they can watch it on their way to work or on their break time or whatever. And so we do really short videos, very consistent. We put one out every week. We make sure that we have one every week and try to keep up with the content as it's coming out and make sure that we're giving them that live content. And it has to be informative. What we don't want to do is just get on there and waste their time, right? And just say, hey guys, how are you? We just wanted to put this video out here because we miss you. It's like, we do miss you, and here's what's going on in the community. This is what we just heard, this school district is doing this, or this one's doing that, or CDC just said this, whatever the case may be. And again, keeping it real, even on this, if we get requests, we keep it real. And we've been blessed that at KidsTLC, they have said, dale, go for it. Do what you got to do for the community. Because there is red tape in a lot of organizations sometimes, where they're like, you can't talk about this, or you can't talk about that. Now we know that we're not going to talk about politics, for example. We know the limits of being a professional as well, but at least we can definitely address some of the problems in the community and be real about it, for sure, as much as possible. And so knowing your community is super important. When I started teaching parenting classes in Olathe years ago, about 15 years ago, I was given this material, and I had to translate the material, of course, into Spanish. But then we've been talking, I had to translate it culturally, but it wasn't even just culturally in the sense of just for the Latino community, right? It was like I had to translate it culturally to fit the culture of Olathe. What were the problems that we were dealing with here, and how was this material going to fit? What are some of the realities that we're facing? For example, housing, very expensive, hard to find, things like that were very real to Olathe, or having to travel far away to go to work because you had to go to the city to go to work, and having a carpool or not having a car, or, whatever the situation was. But knowing the community is huge. The programs that I've had have been very successful. I do fill them up. We usually have, a packed house, whatever the limit is. And people will always call me from different states even to say, how are you guys filling these places up? We offered something. We send out flyers, and, we hardly had anybody come. It's like, number one, know your community. Sending out a flyer is not going to work. I know those are the things that end up in like my junk drawer, right? Sending out an email, good luck with that. making physical phone calls, that's awesome. And not only just a week before, but, you know, a couple of days before, we call the day of if we have to, if we have an event. And then we follow up even if, you know, half an hour before to say, hey, you know, don't forget we have this event coming up. But also just the relationship. I am at a point where I'm working with the kids that I first started teaching, right? I when we have these classes, we have the parents of, you know, los hermanos, los tíos, los primos, like it's like they know us. So it takes time to build that relationship with the community. Now, I know we want to jump and we want to get this done. So find somebody in your area that already has an established relationship in the community and piggyback off of them. You know, take that and use that and say, hey, can you introduce me to the community? So that because they trust you, they'll hear me out. And then, you know, you start establishing that relationship. You will see how that helps with the events and things like that, because they trust you. There's events I've had where they come in and they go, oh yeah, Erik, ¿y de qué es esto? They're not even sure what exactly it's about. But you know, they know that if we're putting it on, it's worth coming to, and that's where that trust comes in. So knowing your community is huge. And again, you know, a lot of folks are transplants. I know that when I first came here, I had to get to know the community, but you have to be in the community, man. You know, I go out and I eat a bonito Michoacan and I go try to play soccer with people, even though I suck at it. But you know, the best thing that you can do is just go out and people will know you and they trust you. And I drive a lowrider, so you know, I'll go around hitting switches and everybody knows me as the lowrider teacher. And you know, it's a fun time, but very immersed in the community. And so, Miss Isabel, your turn.
Bueno, una de las cosas que hacemos es de que estamos todo el tiempo conectando a nuestras familias con los eventos que están pasando, ¿verdad? Lo que está pasando localmente. También estamos todo el tiempo nosotros estudiando y aprendiendo los cambios que están pasando diariamente, que eso en sí mismo puede ser en realidad que nos toma mucho tiempo para hacerlo, pero es lo que estamos haciendo, estarnos todo el tiempo al punto de saber lo que está pasando en nuestra comunidad, lo que está pasando en el país, cuando viene al contenido de COVID o de salud, ¿verdad? También hablamos sobre la salud mental de los niños. Esto es nuestra organización KidsTLC, que es el enfoque personal, pero hablamos sobre qué es la educación mental. En nuestra comunidad no queremos hablar de eso, ¿verdad? Así es que tenemos que hablar de una manera de que ellos entiendan que tener problemas mentales no es algo que es un problema y un asusto, pero es algo normal, como tener diabetes, como tener problemas del corazón, ¿verdad? Así es que nuestro trabajo es educarlos a ellos a cómo lidiar con esas situaciones, ¿verdad? Y también hablar sobre cómo es que COVID puede causar tanta aislación, de que puede causar problemas socioemocionales en nuestros niños, en nuestros padres, ¿verdad? Hablamos sobre cómo prevenir el abuso infantil. Sabemos que durante este tiempo abuso infantil ha subido. Hablamos de cómo es que podemos hablar con los niños, cómo es que podemos calmarnos, qué es lo que estamos nosotros tratando de hacer cuando nosotros disciplinamos a nuestros niños positivamente. Estamos en contra de la chancla. Yo sé que la chancla es muy famosa, pero nosotros estamos completamente en contra de eso. Estamos enfocados en relación y educación. Sabemos que el abuso doméstico también es otra cosa que ha subido, ¿verdad? Tenemos recursos para eso y hablar por qué es que a veces el abuso doméstico pasa. Y es que posiblemente no tienen lo que es necesario, están pasando más tiempo en casa, están tratando de reconocerse otra vez y no tienen ese espacio. Hablamos de cómo salir para afuera, al campo, hacer cosas familiares, cómo encontrar actividades y cómo crear sus propias actividades. Una de las cosas que tenemos que estar muy conscientes es cuáles son los recursos locales, y esos recursos locales, si tienen a personal que hable el idioma que es español, ¿verdad? Para nosotros, cuando hablamos de bilingüe, no sabemos si estamos hablando japonés y inglés o qué, ¿verdad? Pero queremos que la persona hable español, que haga servicios que en nuestra comunidad hispana, que hable español, pueda acudir y sea ayudada. Así es que una de las cosas que hacemos es de que llamamos a esa organización y decimos, tienen personal que habla español porque estamos trabajando haciendo esto y vamos a referir personal, familias a su lugar. Y si nos dicen sí tenemos, o sabes que no tenemos, entonces quién es la persona que puedo conectar para conectarlos a ellos para que puedan recibir sus servicios. Y tener esa relación también con esas organizaciones es muy importante porque cuando llama uno, nuestra comunidad, ustedes saben muy bien de que ellos quieren relaciones, ¿verdad? Y si tienen que es la señora Lupe a la que van a buscar, lo más posible es de que ellos van a llamar a esa persona. Y perdón, lo estoy haciendo todo en español y no pregunté si estaba bien hacerlo en español o en inglés, ¿verdad? Ok, están bien, qué bien. Porque siempre comienzo con español, por supuesto, ¿verdad? Pero eso es muy importante, que es algo que nosotros hemos descubrido y sabemos que nuestra comunidad no vive en recursos, pero vive en una comunidad que nosotros queremos asimilarlos a ellos para que ellos puedan tener éxito. No queremos quitar la cultura, que es tan linda la cultura que tenemos, sino solamente queremos asimilarlos a cómo ellos naveguen en la cultura de Estados Unidos. Así es que eso es algo que nosotros hemos hecho y recibimos llamadas telefónicas y conectamos de servicios de Missouri, como de Kansas, como de Wyandotte County, Johnson County, porque tenemos esa lista de recursos. Y hay veces que solamente los padres quieren hablar y decir, tuve una inconveniencia con mi hijo ayer y no sé si cuando yo hablé con él lo lastimé. Una de las cosas que hablamos es de que como padres podemos pedir perdón y decir, voy a tratar mañana hacerlo mejor. Hemos hablado el tono de voz que usamos, ¿verdad? ¿Cómo es que nos vamos a comunicar con nuestros niños? Y hablamos de la disciplina y del apego socioemocional. Así es que nuestras clases son muy relajadas y como el señor Erik mencionó, tenemos que conocer a nuestra comunidad, tenemos que hablarles en el nivel que ellos entiendan. Una de las cosas es el tapabocas, ¿verdad? Nuestra comunidad exactamente se tapa la boca. Y hemos aprendido que no es solamente eso del tapabocas, sino es algo de taparse la nariz y la boca. Así es que tuvimos una presentación sobre cómo lavarse las manos, por cuántos minutos, la distancia de 6 pies, el usar la máscara esa, ¿verdad? De tapar la nariz y la boca. Hablamos de cómo desinfectar y cómo tener esa química de cloro y agua para poder desinfectar su hogar. Así es que hemos hablado cubrimos exactamente cómo es que podemos prevenir ese COVID. Al mismo tiempo les damos las herramientas y les conectamos con los recursos que están allí puestos. Así es que aquí estamos.
All right, so si tienen preguntas, por favor, avienten esas preguntas o pónganlas ahí en el chat. Put them on that chat room, and we will. I had to speak Spanish just so you guys know I can, because she's been like making me look bad here. So if you guys would put those questions on there, we will try to answer them for you. Are there any questions on there? Anybody? Preguntas, comments? I'm gonna put our faces up here again, I think. If I can figure out how. Maybe I can't. No, I don't even see how. Well, it looks like we don't have a lot of questions. So I love the positivity on here and the oh, here we are. All right.
Y sabemos que ahora el normal no es la palabra positiva, ¿verdad que no? Es negativa. Con de COVID no queremos estar positivos, sino queremos estar negativos, ¿verdad que sí? Así es que es algo diferente, ¿verdad? It's our new normal. We are not going to stay positive. We're going to stay negative so we can be healthy.
That's funny. Yeah, guys, and you know, we are definitely not experts in COVID or any of that stuff, but we definitely try to do at least the research we can to bring that up. Okay, so it looks like we have a question. It says, for schools that have a greater magnitude of languages and cultures, how can we meet the need to communicate? Okay, that's a great question. Jorge. So I also oversee all the interpreters in our school district. And of course, this has nothing to do with KidsTLC, but I could tell you that one thing that we did was create a hotline during the very beginning of COVID for any family that needed interpreter services. Not only did we put information on there in several languages, but we could also call them back with an interpreter to give them information, and that was kind of a quick fix. But as far as like making videos and things like that, you know, I say if you have the capability of doing so with technology, there's several different ways now where those videos can be interpreted or translated, and it is important to build some sort of a leadership team, if you can, that reaches out to the community as far as with the different, the bigger populations in your community, to get them to kind of guide you and lead you on what culturally represents their community and is important to input into the videos. So that's something that I have done in my other role to make sure that I am reaching our families culturally and where they're coming from, not just with the Hispanic families as well. It says here, I know that it would be better to make videos on our end so they are not more more meaningful for our families, but do you think we could share some of your videos? Oh, absolutely, yes. So they are on that Facebook page. You guys can do whatever you want with those videos. They are free to the community. We have people as far as the Netherlands that have seen our videos and made comments, which is pretty cool. Arizona, all over the place. So you guys can feel free to see those videos or put them up and use them whenever you want. And if there's any topics that you feel that would benefit your school district or your community, shoot us a message and we'll have here, let me go ahead and try to put our emails up here as well. But you guys can go ahead and reach out at any time, and we can make videos specifically for your need if you need to. We can absolutely do that for you guys. Is there resources that the individual could use? Jorge, do you mean as far as with COVID or what specific resources? Yes. So yes, if you guys are more than willing to use that as far as resources, we try to put websites and things in our videos. But what we do a lot of is the families will actually physically call us and let us know what their specific needs are, and then we'll just go ahead and research for them. And research is so much easier nowadays. I had a family from Guatemala reach out to me, like literally from Guatemala, with a big question regarding some real crazy DNA testing and things like that. I have no idea about that stuff, but I just reached out to El Centro, and she connected me with somebody in Jersey that I needed to talk to, and we're on the path to getting that family connected. So it's, you know, really, we can do a lot of just Google searching and find that information for families. So it could take us, you know, just a few minutes. But for sure, doing that is important. Language and cultural resources. Jorge, if you go on our videos there, I think you kind of have what maybe you're looking for. But if you're looking for anything more specific, just give us a call or email us, and we will definitely hook you up with different resources. We got tons of different resources, at least in the area or in the Kansas City area, but we can definitely reach out to other communities as well for those resources. So I appreciate that. And I think we're almost out of time. So I just want to thank you guys for your time. I know this is a very short presentation. I also do gang trainings and gang prevention stuff. If you guys are interested in that, please reach out. I always love talking about that because I think it's huge in our community to help with that problem. And also, like I said, I'm big in the lowrider community. So if you have questions as far as starting hands-on type programs for students, I would definitely love to help you on that. It doesn't have to be lowriders. That's my thing. It could be anything else. It could be sewing. It could be crocheting. It could be construction. It could be, I don't care what it is. Giving kids a hands-on activity, a reason to be able to come and visit with you guys, so then you guys can start talking and mentoring. That's all it takes. So thank you guys so much for being with us today, and we appreciate you. Please reach out with anything you have, and I hope that what we said made sense and came out clear. I know we got the whole Spanglish thing going, but I think you guys do too, so don't be judging. No, I'm just kidding. So thank you guys for everything. And Marta, thank you for inviting us and being our host. And Edgar, I don't know if you're on here or you'll see this later, but thank you so much for everything that you're doing in the community, brother. You're doing a great job hooking us all up so that we can all meet each other and hang out with each other. So, Marta, I don't know if you have anything you need to add here at the end.
Muchas gracias, y ha sido un placer. Y esperamos que esta no sea la primera vez ni la última.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody. All these sessions have been recorded and you can use them as you please. There is the same link as the conference. So I'll end this session and then you'll move to the main one. Thank you so much for your comments, your questions. You've been a great audience. Thank you. Y muchas gracias, Erik, Isabel. Muchísimas gracias por su participación por este sábado por la mañana. Hala, nos vemos. Chao.
Adiós. Gracias.
Gracias.